Good evening, everyone.
Very good evening.
Warm welcome to all the panelists over here, and my heartiest gratitude to everyone for giving your precious time. Thank you so much. And I'm sure today's session would be a great history in the education sector because we are going to talk with the students and their thoughts. So today with us, Mr. Gurinder Mishra sir, principal from Nutan Vidya Mandir School, Dilshad Garden. Thanks, welcome sir.
Very good evening to all. Very good evening, Sasima.
Ms. Sayogita Sharma, Director of Manav Rachna International School and Group of the Schools. She is also with us. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Shashiji. Good evening, everyone.
Ms. Anjali Malik, Principal of JP Public School, Greater Noida. Warm welcome, ma'am.
Noida.
Sorry.
Very good evening to all.
Dr. Suchitra Bhattacharya, Principal of Manav Rachna School, International School. Welcome, ma'am. The panelists. And second, we have Shagun Jain, student, school ambassador of Bluebells Model School.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Shagun.
We have Kishika Malik, head girl, Bluebell School.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Kishika. Jasprit Kaur from James International School, Gurgaon. Himanshi Ahlawar from Mount Abu School.
Good evening.
Good evening. And today's topic is student educator equity in co-construction of new model of new learning in post-pandemic schools. So it's a very interesting topic. And with us, we have our previous panelist, Radha ma'am, Dr. Radha ma'am. Good evening, ma'am. Warm welcome. Dr. Lata Murthy, founder director of 3 Home School. Warm welcome, ma'am. And one and only, my backbone and everything for me, Mohan Pradeep Sharma sir. Thank you so much for giving your support and your suggestions and advice, sir. And sir is the moderator, I am co-moderator. So over to you, sir.
Very good evening to one and all.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir.
Sunday at 6. We are once again with one of the very, very burning topic, which I experienced on one of the UNESCO forum very recently, where all the policymakers were there. And they were talking about the participation of the youngsters into the process. You see, we are undergoing a lot of harsh realities currently. Let me set the ball rolling by saying that, you see, a lot of challenges have been set by this pandemic. It's the first time the man's might has gone for a toss. He's been pushed to a corner. He's made to work on a back foot. It's largely because of the 2 major things he's blessed with. One is the thinking faculty, the other is the sense of discovery he has. It is these 2 faculties which have put him into that foot. It is these 2 faculties which will drive him out. So the very cause is going to help him to come out. And heartiest welcome to the young people to whom this world belongs. And I admire you all. I recall my young days when I played for the country in hockey. And all is yours. We thought appropriate to take you on board with us and understand what are the opportunities you've been able to find in the challenges There are a lot of challenges which has come forward. So here now the game starts, and the rule of the game is that we'll do the warming up. I'm a sportsman. Without warming up, I don't play. So we need to slightly heat up. But that heat up has to be very small, 30 seconds bites. Each will take 30 seconds bite. We'll take more bites, but smaller bites. You need to be crisp. You need to be sharp. You need to be precise. So all the participants, most welcome. And we start now the game. I start with Kishika Malik. Kishika, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Big round of applause for Kishika, who has joined this panel. And she happened to be the head girl of the school. And salute to you. And you see, we all, I know it was a very hard time. We just wish to, we are eager to hear from you. What are the opportunities you have been able to find during these pandemic?
Could you repeat, sir? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you properly.
My question is it is not a question. We are nobody to pose you question. No question will be posed. We are only asking you to share your experiences that during the lockdown, when we all are shut at home, what are those new opportunities you got?
Okay. So firstly, pandemic was a time that it literally, yes, put a hold on our lives. So I took this opportunity to explore myself, to work on myself. For example, in this pandemic at home, I did so many things I had no clue of. For example, there's this different type of knitting my mom told me. I don't remember what it's called, but that was something I've never done before. So it's like I was experiencing new things. I like cooking, so I made some dishes there. So it was many things were there which were a new experience for me, and it was a time to reconnect to our family, to our surroundings. So I took some time to have a very strong bond to talk to our family. So yes, pandemic for me was a time. Yes, ma'am.
Your voice is echo. It is not clear.
Not only her voice, even when Mohan Pradeep Sharma sir was speaking, even that was echoing. So there's some technical error. I think it needs to be rectified.
Okay.
Yeah, ma'am. After this, I'll just join again.
No, it is okay.
No, it's not your joining or rejoining.
It is okay.
It's something else.
Okay.
You go ahead.
I think if everyone else goes on mute except the speaker, the echo issue will be resolved.
Absolutely. So I think well taken. You are knitting, you're cooking dishes. Go ahead.
Yes, so I guess that's it. I took the time in the pandemic to reconnect, to explore myself, to work on my skills.
Wonderful. Amazingly good. This is what happens. You see, we were not alone basically. We were in a very different mode. You see, to be alone is very challenging. So we were in a solitude kind of situation. I would like to take now further with the Shakun. Like Kishika talked about, about cooking, about learning to knit, which is a very old craft which our mothers or even my wife has been doing it. So that forgotten art she picked up. What's your take about the new opportunities which you experience?
Okay. First of all, very good evening, sir, and thank you for inviting me to this panel. So whenever I talk about the pandemic and lockdown that we have all experienced from 1.5 years, so there's one thing which Soumya Gulati ma'am, our deputy director, always says that this pandemic is also a pandemic of opportunity. Maybe I'm locked at my home, maybe I'm locked at my place, but my mind is open. The internet is one thing which is reconnecting me to the world and a wider world. Earlier, I used to go to my school and receive education there. But now, sitting on my bed, I can do so much that I could never have imagined. Like Yogita ma'am was just saying that we couldn't have imagined of doing this panel discussion right here 1.5 years earlier. And it was true. It's true. It's completely true. So, sir, when I talk about what I had, the opportunity that I had to uh, envision for myself was goes from school learning to doing my skills, like honing my skills in debating. I'm a theater artist, so theater I got to do a lot of theater while being at home. And apart from that, learning about various technologies that are coming up, because whenever we talk about innovation, say we only think of technology as a factor, that's technological innovation, or maybe we might have achieved something in technology, but there is term social innovation, and it is this year we announced the Model United Nations Conference for our school, and the theme we selected was social innovation and transformation. It took a toll for us to make others understand that there is a difference between technological innovation and social innovation. Because when I talk about this panel, when I talk about everyone who has joined us today, we have all innovated socially. And when I looked up to myself 1.5 years back and what I am sitting here today and discussing on this panel, I have gained in this 1.5 years because I had the opportunity to learn. I didn't have to go to my school, but the time I save, I can use it to hone my skills. I can use it to broaden my horizon in various fields. Because when there's one thing, whenever there's a breakdown, there's a breakthrough. So I could actually look forward to different fields of opportunities which came up with this stand-up. And I really enjoyed this time.
Shagun, well taken from you. When there is a breakdown, there is a breakthrough. A pandemic of opportunities, a Pandora of opportunities which has opened up for all of us. We at one time thought, Jaspreet, are you there?
Yeah, sir, I'm here.
Jaspreet, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Jaspreet is from GEMS International. And Jaspreet, Kishika talked about learning, knitting, cooking. Shagun talked about Pandora of opportunities. What was there in Pandora for you?
Of course, in Pandora, for me, I would say that there were a whole bundle of things, I would say. As Shagun talked about the Model United Nations, yes, it was a great experience for me also about Model United Nations, because I was not aware of that before. But during this pandemic, I started taking part in Model United Nations. I started to boost up my confidence. And yes, I can say that I was not this 1.5 years back, but yes, I'm this now, and I'm really proud of that. And of course, I would say that during these classes, the online classrooms, they have totally transcended the new learning that which we are getting. We never thought of it before, but now we are in this world and we are so much habitual to it. We never thought of having an edu talk before, but and I would say that also there is a voice and choice for students during this pandemic, as we have our own voice and choice, and the teachers and choices are being heeded, which is a great, very great deal. And also, I would say that I have worked on my skills, which I wasn't able to do physically, and now I've worked on them really well. And yes, from this, I have reached to this level, and yes, there's a lot more to go now.
Very well said. I think the Pandora has also brought a lot of things for all of us. And I would like now to go to Himanshi Elawat from Mount Abu.
Yes, sir.
Hi, Himanshi, are you there? Very good evening, Himanshi.
Good evening, sir.
I hope all is well.
Yes.
How was it? How did you feel about, the challenges which we had We were pushed in houses. We were reading, writing from home. We were doing everything from home. So, what were the opportunities which you got?
Of course, the pandemic was an opportunity to embrace ourselves and to nurture ourselves, which is one thing that we have been doing for long, which should have been the center of our attention. But we were so occupied in our daily lives and activities that we were ignoring this aspect. But this is one such thing I learned. Along with all the skills I used to pursue, I nurtured myself, I developed those. And along with it, I developed a new interest. My parents are health workers, and I developed to connect to COVID
Himanshi,
patients.
wait, Himanshi, your voice is not clear. Can you please repeat everything again?
Am I audible now?
Yeah.
Now fine.
Now you are.
Now fine.
Perfectly okay.
So COVID pandemic was one such opportunity for us to embrace ourselves and to nurture ourselves, our skills, because this is something which we have been ignoring for long, while it should have been the center of our attention. But we were so occupied in our daily life activities that we were ignoring this aspect. So COVID pandemic was one opportunity for me to embrace myself, to learn about myself, and to nurture myself, to develop my skills, which I had been pursuing in school. And I also had a new interest, since my parents are health workers, and I am indirectly in touch with few of COVID patients, because of course my parents would never allow me to go to hospitals and physically meet them. But sometimes, just in case, my parents used to feel that some COVID patient was mentally suffering, as in, because they're isolated, and this is something which is very common to the patients these days. So I used to hold a video call with them. I used to talk to them. I used to give them positivity. I used to make them feel optimistic that life is way beyond this pandemic, and we have a lot of opportunities, and that everything is going to be okay.
It's thrilling hearing all the youngsters. My dear educators, you would have realized when we are talking to them, none of them talked about stress. They all, during this transit period, have been able to learn something or the other very interesting, which they otherwise are not finding time for. So all that, I would now take on Anjali Malik ji. That Anjali, how do you see these youngsters now, coming out of the pandemic? They are literally trying to come out of the pandemic. They have grabbed a lot of opportunities. So, what is your take onto it? A sharp and quick 30-second bite.
Yes, sir. I'm thankful to you for giving me this opportunity, and it's really wonderful hearing these students. I must say that what I gather from their points is that they are so positive. We as teachers were thinking that we have to do some activities where social emotional learning is quite balanced and all. And come on, they are coming forward with their positive thoughts, and they are creating positivity for those COVID. It's really nice that if students can take the lead to that extent. And of course, students learning at their own pace, taking charge of their own learning is something very, very important, which has really happened. I think first year of pandemic was transition, but this year is truly transformation, because everybody now has gone from change to adaptability. So I heartily acknowledge how adaptable they have become, and they know that this is a time to explore more opportunities. Why not get onto Zoom quickly, get onto those projects, or maybe think, and these things were something which were never explored. So this is self-discovery and true research. All marks to them from my side.
Very well. I think well said, Anjali ji. Self-discovery. Kishika has reminded me of my mother's skill of doing a crochet and making flowers on the table mats and all. And similarly, Himanshi, maybe is empathy is one factor which is very required in today's world. Is picked up all of us. And now I go on to Sanyukta Sharma ji. Sanyukta ji, how do you see? I thought these youngsters will talk about, getting caught at home, having a lot of duress. But on the contrary, I realized that they have found something very interesting for themselves.
Definitely, sir. Definitely.
What is your 30-second bite on that?
Yeah, I definitely agree with all of them, and I appreciate that they did not crib about the challenges and they harvested the opportunities. And this has been a great learning not only for educators but the students as well, because earlier they had been searching, but they have never been learning from the devices. But when this opportunity came that they have to learn through these devices only, the way they adapted themselves and the responsible attitude that they brought in, maybe there must be many who don't have that much of a responsible attitude as of now because they're on different, points in their trajectory of learning, and these ones sitting here are pretty advanced on their trajectory. But I'm really, really happy that the children definitely are self-regulating themselves. They're using all these opportunities to self-direct and learn and make the most of this time, because we certainly feel that this is the worst of times and this is also the best of times in education. Right now, because we are exploring so much more. The children who were learning in the classroom only from the teacher once, and now the entire world has become a classroom. So it is something, you can connect to anybody sitting in any part of the globe, take the lecture from any, professor anywhere, conceptual clarity. So the children, I think, very well said that they are making the most of this opportunity and this trend and this change. I'm seeing myself, children are maturing, getting more responsible, helping their families as well. The things that we are talking about, I find that this girl said that, she's connecting with the COVID patients. So, this is wonderful, looking at yourself. Empathy, if we talk about the value system that we talk about, we are seeing them in abundance during these times in people, and we must appreciate that.
That's up to all these youngsters who, we are literally thrilled to hear you all, because the way you have, caught all these opportunities which has fallen in your way. And I would like to now take a bite from Gurinder ji. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Sir, how do you feel? I have to drop down a question. In fact, as a moderator, I asked them that this social isolation which they have got it, they have overcome all that.
I was pretty happy to listen them rather, but I think I got stuck now. I have to speak because I was enjoying the talk. These kids, it has never been, to be honest, to begin with, had never been equity in the field of education. We talk about equality, yes, we might have touched upon a certain level, but then I'm very sorry to say that equity still needs to be taken care of. I don't know who will do it, probably maybe another day, another topic of discussion, but then equity is a serious issue. Probably say of the children needs to be now not only highlighted, it should be taken into consideration for framing the policies. Coming to the question, because if I speak further, I might divert from the topic. So coming to the question, they are, I think, intelligently defying the fact that they have missed this school. I must submit that they all have missed this school. गुलजार हुआ करते थे कदमों की आहट से, और जंगल से पड़े हैं जिन्हें स्कूल कहते हैं, मैं तो ये कहूंगा. But yes, I think attitude makes it all. Look at their attitude, and because of that attitude only, I think they have transformed the pandemic into a learning opportunity. What rightly said by one of the child, that it was not actually a kind of breakthrough. He said it is not breakdown, it is breakthrough. I call it not lockdown, it's open up. So it was an open up opportunity for me as a principal as well. Even I have learned a lot of things, still learning. But yes, to the end, I will definitely say that we miss them. I'm missing them in the school. I want them back. And
wonderful. I think Gurinder ji has said very rightly that he has missed all the children, and इनके कदमों से गुलजार हुआ करते थे कभी स्कूल के गलियारे. We take it on further with Suchitra. I think Gurinder ji has lost somewhere a contact. Suchitra ji, how do you feel? we thought initially, I thought, I'm repeating it once again, that these kids would have been on a back foot, but they are not on a back foot. They have learned to score a 6 from Rahul Dravid on a back foot. Now they're scoring 6.
First of all, I would want to thank you, sir, and Shashiji for constantly creating such wonderful platforms. And I would want to congratulate these 4 children. I mean, you must be very different, and that is why you are here today with us. I mean, it's so nice to hear you all. I am very positive about whenever I talk about this pandemic. Like we have ma'am here, Sangeeta ma'am always has been guiding us what is to be done, and actually it has been a roller coaster. And it is so beautiful to see that technology which used to be a problem for us elders, the technology where parents were wanting them to be away from parents who would come to us worried, how do we take it away? We would always answer as elders, as the heads of the institute, we would say that we cannot take technology away from them because they are born with it. And the best part is they are utilizing this technology for the betterment, because this day would have come, but it would have taken a huge duration. I think this pandemic would make it, shorten it, and the children are really utilizing it in the full manner. Like our curriculum also is framed in a different manner now. These children are going in for project making. They are doing so much of art in it, so much of music in it. They're developing the music, like we have in our curriculums also now. We've introduced that they are creating the music, they are creating the news, they are creating that channel of their own where they are editing, they are making videos. I think this is something amazing that has happened. And children, the resilience that they have shown, I think we are surviving because of that resilience that children have shown. We have definitely tried our best to ensure that we keep a pace. We are trying to. They are much ahead of us, but I think we got the energy, the zeal from the children when we see in the class. If you remember, sir, in the beginning, first few days, when our teachers were struggling, in spite of all the trainings that we had given them, but a short duration, they were all trained. But in the class, it was amazing to see when they were stuck. Children were saying, "Ma'am, go to the right button, you click here, and then you will be able to share." So that's how we learned. We actually learned how to unlearn and then go into a new development. That's something what has happened. And with this positivity, I think, and with the NEP coming in, trying to make things more digital and encouraging digital learning, I think it's a long way to go, and we are really going to progress for the betterment.
Well said. Learning to unlearn, relearn is perhaps the reminder of Alvin Toffler, who said long ago, and we all are into that mode. Children, it was wonderful hearing you. I guarantee you, I believe in equity. That is how we invited you, and we are literally thrilled. In the end of this program, we are going to jot down all these points. This is recorded. We are going to put it to the people at the top. We want our children should be heard. Jaspreet should be heard. Himanshi should be heard. Kanishka should be heard. Shagun should be heard. We all are there to hear you, and we acknowledge you, and we applaud you as well. We salute you.
Yeah, they are going to the co-designers with us today, sir.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what I believe in, that you are going to be a part of this new model of learning.
Yes.
But I want you also to hear the other side of the coin. You see, I've been a teacher all along. And for a teacher, leaving home at 6:30 or 7, going to the school, going to the assembly, going to the staff room, wow. I still remember my gossip talks. And, all that, what we miss, I would like to invite Anjali to share with us. How is it that the teachers have undergone this situation,
Sir, I think, see, teachers, of course, there is no doubt that the physical contact is definitely missed. and the kind of touch, heart-to-heart touch, which teachers were having with students, the eye contact, and the presence of the teacher in the class, and then how her body language, how she would look at students, and how she would make every student participate, because she knows where to trigger, how to trigger each child, right? So that is definitely a little miss as far as the physical classes are concerned. But then, as I said, that because last year when we started, we were initially in a struggling mode, and then we were picking up technology, although we were a little excited. So, but then it became boring after some time, and then we were looking forward to meet each other. But now, as rightly pointed out, that this has opened a new horizon, and there is a new platform, because we are very well equipped as far as technology is concerned by now. Teachers are ready with various tools of quizzing and creating, say, those groups and all. There can be some closed room meetings, and those projects can be shared. There is a scope of peer learning. So I think now the scenario is little different. As I said, that we are in a mode of transformation. Like, I remember a simple thing of say putting up an annual function last year, when we were really struggling, that students had sent the videos which were, most of them were not really up to the mark. But then we all evolved through the process, and we realized that this time we must first of all hold orientation of teachers, students, parents, tell them how to make an appropriate video, where to put the camera, and then how to get it recorded, make it appropriate within the duration, so that things become more meaningful. And I think that in adversity, in a situation of challenge, you always learn more, and then you always find solutions, because once you are in the waters, you realize how cold it is. You naturally learn to swim out of it. So this year has been a year of opportunities, where in the mode of technology also, now we are ready with so many things: artificial intelligence, your data science, your coding. So you name a thing and it is there. And still, if we keep the scope, the crafts are also being carried on. The craft work which the art teacher was doing, the yoga classes, the fitness. I think it's more important where children have come forward and they are more self-disciplined now, because they understand that they have to take care of their health, hygiene, food habits, nutrition, and appropriate physical exercises. They can't be going out and playing. So a new plethora of activities is there now for students. So there is altogether a change. But as I said,
taken, Anjali, well taken. I thought I have been for a long time in the teaching fraternity, which is dominated by the female folk. Majority is, I recall I have been the manager of school where Anjali ji is a principal. You see, seeing Anjali ji coming out with a very graceful sari is now missed out. A talk in the staff room is missed out. Our females are basically the focal point of the family. So those 8 hours which they used to get in to go to the school, I hope there must be somewhere something being missed out. I wish Sanyukta Sharma ji to share with us some issues like that, so that children must understand. Our teachers, they have learned to work in very, very challenging areas.
Definitely, sir. As we appreciate the children, coming up so well and embracing this, at the same time, the children also must appreciate the teachers. The way they took up these challenges. And I must say that it's the deepest of crisis only we find creative solutions. So when we were in the deepest of crisis, and we say teachers are lifelong learners. So this quote came really true during this time. The teachers being at home taking double challenge. Their families, there must have been somebody suffering at the family front as well, challenges at the family front, no maids coming home, and thinking and learning new technology. People, when they started taking these classes, all of them have it happened all of a sudden, abruptly. So nobody was prepared for it. Never had, the complete paraphernalia or the setup at home. So they had to struggle. But taking two things, family challenges, teaching challenges, and then you are not teaching the children only, you are teaching the whole family at home. There are the parents sitting, there's the grandfather sitting, grandmother sitting. So it has been a big challenge for teachers to be in families, getting exposed to, getting there, and making not only the students satisfied, but everybody satisfied. And it's and when it became so challenging that learning technology is one part, at the same time trying to reach every child. Because today when I talk about equity, we should also understand equity in terms of teachers. Absolutely. Teachers were also at different points. All of them were not very well versed with technology. Maybe the computer teachers at some advanced schools, for example, if I come from Manvashna, we had a lot of technology. But if you look at the macro scenario, it wasn't so. But we found the teacher, even the remotest corner, doing the same thing, trying to reach children through WhatsApp, using a smartphone, record करके भेज रहे हैं, कुछ भी कर रहे हैं. So I have all appreciation, hats off to each educator, wherever the person is, anywhere in the world. They came up, took challenges head on. And that is how these children, if they found today, it is interesting and they could find their own paths. I think teachers played a big, big role.
I think well said. You have reminded me, I was looking after one of the rural schools. The challenges for the teachers were little more. You see, our society is a patriarchal society. I have learned with a great difficulty to cut brinjals at home, to cut tomatoes at home, to do the cleaning and mopping with my wife. Unless the house cannot run, you're not getting the maids. And then teaching from home. What happened, Suchitra ji? How do you take this? What I will subscribe into? Men folk takes a lot of time to learn these skills. Youngsters are too good. My son is too good, but I am not.
So that is what, yes, I would agree to it. Youngsters, the present generation, of course, is much advanced. They do not have any differentiation between men's work and a woman's work these days, though. So they are well equipped. Leave aside these young students, a younger lot also. In fact, I would say that it did exist, that they are there to help each other. But at the same time, what happened here, because of this present situation, I think it was taken up very differently by the male members of the society, these children, and of course, as ma'am said, teachers. It was a roller coaster. It was not easy for the teachers to just have this paradigm shift from the offline class to the online mode. The training was so rigorous. We still remember it was 22nd March. We said last year that the school is going to be closed. There's going to be lockdown. And most of the sessions were supposed to start on 5th, 6th. In fact, ours itself was 7th. Ma'am, if you remember, we started on 6th. This few days, it was such a tough time for the teachers because rigorously training was given to them so that we could reach out to the children. And what I would say is the way we have taken care of the mental health of the students, that is something commendable. And I always, wherever as a principal, as a leader, wherever possible, I keep telling my staff that you are actually the warriors, COVID warriors, because the mental health of the students were taken. In fact, not only that, I'm sure all the advanced schools have organized so many events where parents were also involved. The senior class parents were involved in that in their own way. The juniors were involved. There were small events that we were organizing so that parents also could come with the yoga session. I think most of the schools have done that. So that was commendable. If you talk of the home front, yes, we also, I'm sure all the principals will agree, the teaching fraternity, if we have here, there are so many teachers who've got newborn babies. There are so many teachers who've got ailing parents. So taking care of them, as you said, without the domestic help, it wasn't easy. Here again, I would again give a credit to my students. Of course, those 4 years are our students somewhere down the line. So they have also helped each other. Like I have a child who's in class 12. The way this little girl with her education, with her preparing for NEET and all the other examination till now for CBSE, even they have taken up the responsibility. Like the speakers here also said, the way they did care a little bit in their family, I think it was a learning lesson for each one of us. We have learned from how to be beside each other at the time of such a wonderful crisis, which of course have taken away so many lives, which gave so much of torment, so much of torture, but at the same time, it really taught us many life skills. It taught us how to be beside each other, to understand each other, to have empathy for each other, sir.
Well said. I think it's well taken. How is it, Gurinder ji, you are finding it?
Sorry, due to technical error last time, it got disconnected. So I was in the middle of, telling children that the pandemic has given them a wing, a special wing to fly. And I'm afraid that tomorrow, suppose the school again opens, suppose offline school opens immediately. Our learning, which we are talking about, is it going to be used and utilized as a parallel resources, or we are going to go back to square one again? That is one thing which I wanted to highlight. Somehow digitally, I got stopped, disconnected. And coming to this wonderful point which Suchitra ma'am and Sanyukta ma'am, they have also admitted. Completely agreeing, but adding one little point, which I think everyone to ponder upon, that the challenges which the teachers have faced here, it is very unprecedented. Many schools have cut the salaries, and online class starts from this date, ends on that date. School opens on this date, ends on that date. Do this, don't do this. This is locked, this is open. Everything has been talked about from everyone. But the irony is nobody from the top to the bottom has spoken this, because this is content. I don't know, this is controversy, or I don't know what kind of fear. Unless, I mean, teachers are doing a kind of job which they used to do earlier, rather more than that, and that too at half the salary. And obviously the credit goes to the pandemic only. There is a lot of parallel issues which has been caused the problem. The management has its own say, but then this has got stress, and this stress has affected the whole domain of the work. I realized at times when I talk to my teachers, even my school has been in the same category. Though we tried our level best to convince parents that please keep paying the fee. Obviously, tuition fee is only to be paid, and blah blah blah. I'm not saying that this is the right forum to raise this issue, but this adds to the challenges to the teachers which we are talking about, and principals, which is a huge source of stress. So probably we have learned. Let us see that what solutions can be. I don't think.
I think. Mr. Guninder, what you're saying is absolutely right. So when I said that equity for teachers, this is again something very, very important that we need to look into the interest of teachers. If we expect from her to be spreading happiness, positivity, exactly. So we need to be looking at that positivity is there in her life as well. Then only she can pass it on, right? Yes. So we at our end,
I have rightly understood.
Yes.
I have been the manager. I have been the senior vice president with a group of 27 schools.
Yes.
You see, the fee footfall has adversely affected. So definitely, it's a call. Basically, our schools, we need to understand, our schools were basically established for face-to-face learning. It is a call for the owners to transform these schools into a hybrid school, which is meant for blended learning. You don't require 26 buses now. The school will never start. It will start in a staggered manner. It is well taken, I think. We will take forward this. Well taken, Gurinderji, this point.
Thank you, sir.
I wish to take up one small thing with the children. I'm very happy that you have got this Pandora of opportunities. You have started discovering yourself. You have started self-disciplining yourself. You have started, self-learning something. I wish to share with you this new education policy has a lot to do with the meta-learning, which we will, when we take up now the NEP, the pandemic is over, the another opportunity which is there for us is the NEP. I hope children, students, you know that the schools now are going to implement the national education policy in your school. I hope you all know. Jasprit, you just like that, you say, Himanshi knows. Shagun, you have an idea about it? You know what is going to happen now? It has already started. In the NEP, they have introduced coding and data science already. There are two subjects. The third, which is going to come, is a bagless school. For 10 days, you can go learn crochet, you can go learn sitar, you can go learn guitar, come back to school, appear again in the test for guitar and sitar, and continue with it. So your passion will be taken care of. That is number one. There are n number of things where you will be a part. A new lesson plan which has come into being, I will take it up with the principals, so that you are aware of that how the transactions are going to be. You are going to be a part of the assessment process. There is something called PARAK. PARAK is Performance Analysis Review Holistic Development. It is done under the National Testing Agency. I think I'll start with Sanyukta ji, if you can throw a 30 seconds bite on this.
Definitely, sir. When we talk about national education policy, the students should feel happy that the policy safeguards their interests, gives them lot of liberty, lot of freedom to learn. Even in the name of assessments, choosing of subjects, the first thing is the entire structure they are changing. It used to be 10 plus 2, it's going to be 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. So that means you can choose your subjects right in grade 9th now. And there is no binding on choosing of subjects as a stream. It's going to be a list of subjects. You can choose any subject that you like as per your interest and inclination and your passion, so that you can pursue it for 4 years instead of 2 years. That's one very, very important point, which I think when you talk about this scenario where you can learn from anywhere in the globe, that gives you that kind of global learner's profile, that you have a bucket of subjects from where you can choose from. Because tomorrow's job profiles will be different from what they are today. They are not going to be stagnant and rigid like we have today. You need to be multitasking. You need to be knowing so much about so much. So this is one big point, that you get freedom to choose. And then there is entry and exit as well. After 10th, in case you want to take a year off, come back again, because there we even talk about children, we talk about the entire country and all the children in the world who have to maybe compulsorily or because of some compulsions take a year off, they can come back to the system. And the beautiful thing is that the freedom for students is that assessment for learning is promoted here, not summative assessment, just where grades or marks is milte hain. They are saying that the schools need to bring in assessment for learning. Students should be self-assessors themselves. There has to be peer assessment as well. So all these upcoming strategies which are bringing students in a big way is something which you all need to be feeling good about.
Two things very important. Sanyukta ji has said. Assessment for learning, and then she said about 9 plus 4 bracket plus 4 bracket. You will have a streamless 9 plus. You can take physics with the civics. You can read history with chemistry. It will go on to the semester system. your 4 years will be divided into 8 semesters. And each semester you will read 3 subjects. So you're going to read 24 subjects. Imagine what you are. And taking a step further with Anjali Malik ji, it is not going to be only, assessment for learning. It is going to be assessment as learning. That means it is going to be meta learning. That is, they are going to be part of the assessment. 360 degree in the Parak, they will be a part of it.
Yes, sir. May I take over?
Yes, you're by call.
Okay, right. So, very rightly said that there will be a scope of assessment as learning, and students will be able to assess themselves. Teachers also, while teaching and bringing their lesson plan to reality, bringing the engaged model of the lesson plan to reality in the class, there will be a scope for the teachers also to assess themselves and then improve their teaching. There will be a scope of portfolios for students. So right now we've never had the concept of portfolios bringing brought to reality in the class, right? So you were just comparing certificates towards the end of your schooling life when you are planning for an international university or something. So that was the definition of portfolio for you. So but then here portfolio will actually help you assess and actually gauge your learning. So how much you've learned all throughout in what are the milestones you have met, and what is further that you have to take on to. So as I said earlier also, you will be there to take charge, come forward, take charge of your learning, and with this 360 degree feedback all throughout, there will be a scope of the holistic development of personality, which used to be in words, in our speeches and all. So maybe now it will truly happen, and meta learning will actually find its space. And Bagla School also, I would like to refer to, which Sir has said. Of course, there will be a scope of schools internships, right? Otherwise, only maybe after grade 10 or grade 11, you were looking for some summer schools or internships which would add on to your portfolio or whatever. But this way, you'll be able to carry on with your passion at very early stage during your middle school as well. So the parent community of the schools can come forward. They can join hands with the school teaching faculty, and we can have some internship scopes for the students during the middle school level. Also, these 10 days also, it's all about how you make the best of these 10 days in respective classes, say grade 6, 7, and 8, and that's how you pick up these small skill subject courses and enhance your skills overall. This will give lead to those multidisciplinary, or what you say as interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary, transdisciplinary, right? So you will have a wider horizon of coming up with transdisciplinary projects also in future. So of course, NEP is going to be a great scope of innovation.
Well taken from Anjali ji, talking about the student portfolio. I recall when we were designing an engaged model, I come from a little background of teachers training with the UNESCO. So I'm very passionate about it. The lesson plan is a tool which is carrying all the content to the children, all the knowledge, all the skills. So now in JP schools, we have introduced a boarding card for the students. Once they come into the class, they will get an entry card. So they say few things about their previous knowledge on entry card, and they will also get an exit card. Am I right, Anjali ji?
Yes, sir. Yes.
We have entry and exit card so that it goes into their portfolios. I'll share with the participants the kind of lesson plan we have designed on an engaged model, and I'll take a bite from. We have also on the panel Radhaji from CBSE. Is Radhaji there?
Yes.
Radhaji, since you come from CBSE, this Engage model has come in 2020, somewhere in May, June.
Yes.
It is, the economy is engaged, energized, likewise. How do you feel, how effective it is going to be in the days to come?
Okay. When we're talking about these kind of newer models of pedagogy that is coming in, we have somehow siloed all these opinion into a category, and we called it the emerging pedagogies for the 21st century learning. And here what's happening is there are multiple ways in which the children are going to be engaged, and the children get multiple opportunities to learn the various skills that we feel will be required in future. Like ma'am has been talking, Anjali ma'am was also mentioning that we don't know what are the kind of jobs that are going to be available in the future. Okay, now with that kind of a scenario, what are we going to prepare our children for? We really don't know where we are heading, and we don't know what is going to be required. So the best option that appeared was to create a platform where children are going to be upskilled. And that's where your Bagless Days comes in, and that's where your interface for, what do you call, your internships, you know, that interface has been introduced. See, these were all things which never came in. So when we're talking of engaging children in a way that is appropriate to create children suitable and job worthy in future, I think upskilling them is paramount. We cannot avoid it. We cannot overlook it. So upskilling here probably may mean a small compromise on one particular aspect of pedagogy. And if we think it is obsolete and it can be blended with the newer requirements in pedagogy, I think we need to head for it. You know, these kind of reservations that we've had all the while.
And rather
not
I
wanting
find
to
one,
do this, you know,
I find
I
one
think we need
mention.
to shake it up. We need to shake up this reservations that we've had. And we've seen children, they did not fail to surprise all of us. We thought probably they're going to be speaking of stress, tension, anxiety, and that was the thing that is missing. Isn't it beautiful? Our children are ready. Come on. I think we need to take them on, and we need to be the beacon of light they're looking for. They're looking for the support. They're looking for people who are going to lead them, show them the path, not handhold. They don't need handholding. They need somebody who's going to guide them. I think we need to be there, providing them this path. Probably one aspect would be upskilling them. Give them the required skills and tell them, probably, sweetie, that's the path that you need to take on. And I think our children are ready to take it all on. We have seen, can you imagine this little girl, Himanshi, in spite of all that's happening in her own family, her parents being health warriors, she's going around counseling people. Isn't that amazing? How many of, even, let's talk about adults, how many even thought about it? Everybody was into their own worlds, thinking about what COVID did to them. The maid didn't come, but then it's okay, maid didn't come, so we need to know what to do about it. So we are not going to be looking at a problem, we're going to be looking at a solution for problems. I think our children are ready, and I think we need to move on and support our budding future children, and we need to make this happen for them. So I think,
thank you very much. We will definitely support them. That's how they are there. And I think well taken from you, Radhaji. I think upskilling is very important.
Absolutely.
I will now take very major issue which is there in the NE.
Sorry?
I'll take it up with the children.
Yeah.
And we will hear them. What do they say? I hope Jasprit is there. Jasprit, this NEP says that our Rashtriya Bhasha is Hindi. We must have our education as well in Hindi. English should be learned as a foreign language. What is your take into it? Because हमें बड़ा अच्छा लगता है जब हम अपनी टंग रोल करते हैं अंग्रेजी में, और हमें बड़ा हीन भावना लगती है जब कभी हिंदी में बोलना पड़ता है. आपको कैसा लगता है इन सब बातों के लिए?
So I would say that speaking in English is a language these days. However, we should not forget our mother tongue
Jaspreet,
language. which is
Jaspreet,
Vietnam.
wait. Your voice is not clear. Come again.
Is it audible now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now fine.
Okay. Yes, so ma'am, I was saying that we nowadays speak in English and we feel that we will look rich if we speak in English. But if we say that people who speak in Hindi, they must be dull. They don't know how to speak in English. However, as per me, I would say that we should speak in English. We should know English because that is used these days everywhere. However, we should not forget our mother tongue language, which is Hindi. Forgetting our mother tongue language and speaking English, moving on into different countries, how would we be able to increase our population of India? How would we be able to increase our mother tongue language if we do not tell people to speak in Hindi? If we increase people to speak in Hindi, then obviously we'll be able to increase the people speaking in Hindi. So we should not forget our mother tongue language. Yes, we should speak in English, but not forgetting what our India is up to.
What happens, Jaspreet? You see, to find a substitute of one word in our mother tongue in English is very difficult. Not going into the nitty-gritty of this, I will come down to Kishika. What is your take on to it? कैसा लगता है अगर हम कल से कहें कि कल से स्कूल सारे हिंदी माध्यम में चलेंगे और हम सब हिंदी भाषा में बात करेंगे, अंग्रेजी पढ़ेंगे हम, English we will read, nobody is abolishing, but we will try talk in Hindi, बात हिंदी में करेंगे. आप घर में क्या भाषा बोलते हैं? हिंदी बोलते हैं. मैं तो पंजाबी हूँ, मैं तो पंजाबी बोलता हूँ. एक पंजाबी के एक वर्ड का अंग्रेजी में मजा नहीं है, स्वाद आ गया. What is the substitute of that? How do you feel if it happens in school that it is a Hindi medium?
Okay, so firstly, yes, sir, I agree with you that kabhi kuch aisa hota hai that we want to say something in Hindi and then we translate it into English. So the essence of the word is lost. But yes, I agree. If we just suddenly say that we're gonna have to speak Hindi in schools, that is a practice we've been following through a long time. That it's English is like now the formal language which we have to speak. But yes, definitely somewhere in the way of speaking English, we tend to lose our cultural competencies, cultural values, indigenous curriculum. And whenever we study something, for example, poems, I have to get a poem for a orientation tomorrow. I'll always look up for Shakespeare or J.B. Priestley. Why not our own Indian authors? Why not take the traditional approach? Because let's face it, Indian education system was worldly accepted. And we have moved on from that traditional approach. So I believe that, yes, it's late for that, but we need to make a global perspective which has been encouraged from our roots, from our culture.
Kishika, well taken. You've talked about not immediately switching over, maybe in phase-wise manner.
Yes.
And you've talked about wonderfully well about our traditional system of education, which was worldwide known. How is it, if I talk to Himanshi about it? Himanshi, कैसा लगेगा अगर हम ये कहें कि स्कूल में हिंदी बोलनी पड़ेगी?
So definitely,
लगता है कोई दिक्कत आएगी?
am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay, definitely Hindi is our mother tongue and we should be promoting it, considering our cultural and traditional values. But if tomorrow, I see my books translated to Hindi with all the terminologies in Hindi, it's going to be a little hard. It's going to be a challenge for students, honestly.
Well,
because, in papers, when you attempt papers, you attempt NTSC and JSTSC, something I guess all of us have attempted here. We had a section for Hindi. Did you try reading that? I did. I thought the question I was not able to understand. I might when I look at that section, but I couldn't because the terminologies are totally different in Hindi. And then, I talked to my parents about how they felt, how they studied as kids. And they say that when we look at your books, they studied in Hindi medium. When we look at your books, we take time to understand what's written. We need to read it again. We need to understand because terminologies are totally different. So if they face the issue, that is something which we are going to face as well.
Well
And I
said.
guess
I think everybody will get rattled if everything is being suddenly done. So I think well taken that you say that it should be in a phase-wise manner. Maybe we can switch over. Terminology still can remain in English. That's a take. And what is the Shagun's take? शगुन कैसा लगता है हिंदी में अगर आपका माध्यम चेंज हो जाए? Are you there, Shagun? Unmute yourself. You are muted. Unmute करना जरा. हाँ बिल्कुल ये लगा लो.
Sir, am I audible?
Yeah. You look like a pilot now.
So can you just repeat the last line?
I said, what is your take on to, if Hindi is being made medium of instruction, you feel the same way what Ishika said and what Himanshi said, that it can be, or Jaspreet said, it can be phase-wise manner, not immediate.
Sir, first of all, I'd like to point out that our education system, when we say that our mother tongue is Hindi, then why our education system put so much of emphasis on English? Because I somehow feel that while giving our education system a global prospect, we somehow lose on our roots, what we have been through, like Hindi or any other regional language, so to say. So, sir, as you speak, like tomorrow, maybe my textbooks are translated to Hindi, it will be a toll. Like, I don't know how to read Hindi, but again, if I try to, I can do, because I have been given this exposure to English from quite this all these 12 years of education that I cannot, directly go back to Hindi. But sir, I'd say you'll also, I believe many of us will agree to it. Whenever we speak in Hindi, the essence is different. Suppose, sir, today there's just this simple statement. I say in English and Hindi. There's this India introduced zero to the world. When I say it in Hindi, Bharat ne sampoorn vishwa ko shunya diya. Sir, you can feel the difference. There's a difference in essence. There's a difference in expression. Because I've been learning it at my home, it's my mother tongue. I know how to blend it with my emotions. But again, when I talk to English, it is a global language now. But it will be having its repercussions, I would say, when my textbooks are translated to Hindi. But again, we should not lose on our roots. I remember there was this chapter in grade 6 in Hindi. It was some Japanese translated chapter, and there was this student of Japan who was asked कि अगर कल तुम्हारी राष्ट्रभाषा अंग्रेजी कर दी जाए तो तुम कैसे वो करो? And he was like, मैं जापानी को नहीं छोड़ सकता. तो हम क्या अपने उससे भूल रहे हैं? क्योंकि सर आपने भी सुना होगा that whenever an Indian speaks wrong English, we mock him. But whenever a foreigner tries to speak wrong Hindi, we generally make it a friendly. Then why is it happening? Because we have been losing it on our roots. There's always a difference between the mode of language. We students have learned it for past 12 years. It will be difficult for us. But what NEP is trying to give it from the start, it will have a different impact and a positive one. Because absolutely. I, as a person, I'll say that I'm a theater artist. When I get to do theater in Hindi, I have this essence. Okay, now I have the power, I have the stage, I can do whatever I want to. But whenever I have to do the same in English, it's different.
Well taken, Shagun. In mathematics class, I was an outstanding student. That is how I became a player. Every time Anjali Malik ji has put me out of the class. And so theater is very good. Keep it up.
Sir, may I add something to this? What Shagun has said? And
please.
I mean, it's really nice hearing from young students like this that come on, Hindi is so such a lovable language for them, and they really wish that we should have curriculum in Hindi. But then the whole idea of the entire discussion, what I feel is, like being a maths person myself, I feel the competency and the concept is very important. Maybe when I go to the class, it does not matter to me. At times, I still don't know when I should go to Hindi, and maybe when my students pose a question in Hindi, and just to connect with them, just to get at heart with them, just to have the feel of the concept and all. I mean, we are at times in Hindi and we do wonders, right?
So that is just the point, Anjali ji, why NEP is talking about bringing in Hindi, right? Because the children fail only because they do not know the language. It is not, it doesn't know the math or science. He's not failing in math or science, he's failing because of the language, right? So वो वही कह रहे हैं कि छोटेपन से जो भाषा उसको समझ में आती है, अगर हम उसमें पढ़ाएं, तो he will be better understanding the concepts. So the focus is on conceptual clarity. So that is, I think, the NEP is trying to do.
I think
yes,
Anjali ji and
somewhere as leaders, we need to give little autonomy.
Absolutely.
Also,
so their voices are being recorded. We will endorse that, and I think it is well said. Shashi ji, I just want to find out, do we have 10 more minutes with us?
Yeah, sir, sure. Because their talk is so very interesting and they have spoken well. And from the core of their heart, they have spoken.
Absolutely.
So I love their topic and I love their points. What Shagun says, what Himanshu says, and Jaspreet and Ishika says. Wonderfully you have said.
We are very proud of our children.
Yes.
And they certainly, they click wherever they go. I come on to now the vision of the NEP. You know, children, students, what the NEP says, this NEP envisioned to transform India into Bharat. What's gone wrong with the India? And what's so good in Bharat? मैं भारत का रहने वाला हूँ, मैं भारत का रहने वाला हूँ, मैं भारत की बात करता हूँ. There's a very good song from Manoj Kumar, and I know when we go to the field, I went to Pakistan and played at a couple of places the matches. Once you win, the tricolor is up. You feel your head raised. तो वो इंडिया को क्या हो गया संयुक्ता जी जो भारत में बदलना पड़ेगा is hard take, so that our children they understand the gist of this policy.
Definitely, sir. The vision of policy says that Indians feeling proud of themselves, about their country, about their education system. So the education policy sees that it should be deeply grounded into our own culture, into our own heritage. We may fly as high as we can. The corners, roads should be open to everything coming from all angles. But at the same time, it's very, very important to know yourselves, know your country, be proud of that, the rich cultural heritage that we have, the value base that we have strongly with us. And one of them, when we talk about the language coming in here, it is not only speaking a language, it is the language that belongs to us and we understand in that language. It gets us clarity. It makes children not cram things, because when we cram things only because the language, आपको बहुत energy डालनी पड़ती है. It doesn't convert into understanding. And if it doesn't convert into understanding, it doesn't travel to your long-term memory. ये आपका हिस्सा बन ही नहीं पाती है. So very, very importantly, this policy talks about bringing out the essence, the spirit of India in the young students, so that they have a sense of belonging to their country, knowing their country, or substantially grow करें, so that they, being proud Indians, contribute to the whole world. जैसे अभी ये शगुन ये सारे बच्चे, I'm very happy to see that they take good pride into that India ने शून्य दिया, इंडिया ने इतना कुछ किया, भारत ने इतना कुछ किया. तो भारत का जो एक फिर से गौरव है, वो बच्चे भी पहना जाए कि वो वहां से आया है तो अच्छा है, हमारे यहाँ से है तो अच्छा नहीं. तो भारत की जो संस्कृति है, जो हमारे गांव है, हमारा पूरा हिंदुस्तान है, उसको जाने, और मुझे लगता है आगे बढ़ेंगे तो they can reach, shine like a supernova anywhere, and that is what's the policy, I think.
I think well said, and that we should take pride in our culture, is the gist of this policy. You see what's gone wrong. I'll take it up with Gurinder Mishra ji. You see, it has happened for so long, we even do not realize the kind of damage it has done to us. These Britishers, the policy which they gave it to us, we were taught in history that we are looted, we are beaten. We are never told that there was Ashoka, there was Ahilyabai, there was Jhansi Ki Rani. We are told that a lot of atrocities have happened to us. We are told we are very inferior because we were made to do a repetitive work. What you are doing now, or what I am a part of that system. So Modi ji has got a very challenging task to overhaul the entire system which has carried on for 70 years. तो इसको कैसे देखते हैं गुरिंदर जी? ये पॉलिसी जो है बड़ा अच्छा मौका आया है, अभी आप स्कूल के लीडर हैं और इसको इम्प्लीमेंट करने का आपको सौभाग्य प्राप्त होगा।
मैं धन्यवाद सर। मैं बहुत देर से सोच रहा था इस पे बोलने का, क्योंकि बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट टॉपिक है।
मैं आपके दिल की बात जानता हूं।
हाँ, बच्चों का विजन भी अच्छा लगा, और मेरे दिमाग में था कि मैं इस बात को ना हिंदी में ही रखूंगा। तो दो बातें हैं ट्रांसपोर्ट की भाषा में, इधर यू, चलो अंग्रेजी भी डाल देता हूँ, इधर यू हैव टू ड्राइव और यू हैव टू बी ड्रिवन, देयर इज नो थर्ड वे। सो भाषा की जो समस्या है वो एक्चुअली वो ड्रिवन हो गई, और कहाँ से हुई? आपने चलो अंग्रेजों का नाम ले लिया, मैं तो उनका भी नाम नहीं लेता, मैं तो उनको धन्यवाद देता हूँ, रेलवे बिछा दिया उन्होंने, बहुत प्रगति कर दी। बट उसके बाद का जो कैटेस्ट्रॉफ हुआ है उसमें तो हमारे अपने लोग हैं, हम खुद हैं, हम टोपी उठा के किसी और के सर कैसे रख सकते हैं? आज भी ये समस्या है। देखिए, हिंदी को लेके हम बड़ी बड़ी बातें कर तो लेते हैं, लेकिन कुछ ऐसे प्रदेश है जहाँ हिंदी पे वहां पर आंदोलन खड़ा हो जाता है, बोलते हैं राष्ट्रभाषा है नहीं, हम नहीं मानते, जो मर्जी हो करना कर लो, ये तो बीजेपी वालों का एजेंडा है, एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा। चलो पॉलिटिसाइज नहीं करता डिस्कशन में। हमारा कहना यह है कि भाषा वह होनी चाहिए जिस भाषा में हम अपनी बात रख सकते हैं, और कभी कभी भाषा अगर कोई नाम ना दिया जाए, सांकेतिक हो, तब भी वो भाषा होती है। तो अगर ये सच्चाई है तो क्यों ना हम भाषा की इस सच्चाई को राइट एट द टेंडर एज, जैसा कि सगुन ने कहा, वहां से इसको हम लोगों को पकड़ना चाहिए। अंग्रेजी एक माध्यम है, मुझे तमिल वाले से बात करनी है, हम अंग्रेजी बोल लेंगे, क्योंकि उसको अंग्रेजी भी आती है, मुझे भी आती है, हिंदी नहीं बोल लेंगे, कहाँ का झगड़ा है? बंगाली से बात करनी है, हम अंग्रेजी बोल लेंगे, हम हिंदी से बात करें, हिंदी बोल लेंगे। बच्चों को जहां से ये समता मैम ने कितनी अच्छी बात कही, प्रॉब्लम भाषा की जो यहाँ हम लोग बात कर रहे हैं, जब वो ये प्रॉब्लम सब्जेक्ट के अंडरस्टैंडिंग में ट्रांसफॉर्म हो जाती है। मैं किसी को फिजिक्स पढ़ाना चाह रहा हूँ, और सिर्फ इसलिए नहीं अच्छा टीचर बन पाया मैं क्योंकि मुझे अंग्रेजी आती नहीं, फिजिक्स तो बहुत अच्छी आती है, तो क्या फायदा हमारे फिजिक्स का? हमारा ज्ञान तो रह गया ना, धारा का धारा रह गया। हमें तो उसको न्यूमेरिकल का कंसेप्ट समझाना था, और वो उस भाषा में समझेगा न्यूमेरिकल जिस भाषा में वो पारंगत है, और वो उस भाषा में पारंगत होगा जो भाषा उसके घर में बोली जाती है, जिसको हम लोग लोकल लैंग्वेज का जामा पहनाते हैं।
बिल्कुल, अगर आप रसायन कहेंगे या भौतिक शास्त्र कहेंगे तो किसी को नहीं समझ में आएगा।
हाँ, तो ये न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी ने एक ऐसे दुखते नब्ज को पकड़ा है जिसपे आई थिंक हम सब एजुकेटर्स को काम करने की, मैं तो बहुत देर से अपने सारे बुरिया बिस्तर समेट कर बैठा हुआ हूँ, जैसे लॉन्च होता है मैं बहुत खर्च करने वाला हूँ, क्योंकि आई स्ट्रांगली प्रमोट दिस, आई स्ट्रांगली एडवोकेट दिस, कि उस भाषा में बात करो यार किसी से जिस भाषा में उसको समझ में आती। तुझसे नहीं आता तो या तो उसकी भाषा सीख ले, अपनी भाषा उसे सिखा दे, बस दूसरा कोई रास्ता नहीं है। इधर यू ड्राइव और यू बी ड्रिवन, दैट्स इट। थैंक यू सो मच।
Either you drive or you get driven. Suchitra ji, we drive or we get driven.
So very well said. Either we drive, and that's actually, frankly speaking, what even for the previous part of the discussion, what we have seen, that we are worried even when we shifted to technology, but we have seen that children are so comfortable with it. Similarly, with this again, I have seen whatever these little children have said, I think hats off to them. When we are struggling, we are thinking of dialects, we are thinking of so many state level. So how do we come to a common platform? These children of this age, they are ready to accept the challenge. So that shows the progressive attitude, what is existing in the young generation. It's only that we need to take it up, because as sir was just said, it is we who have tried to take things in a better condition, in a different direction. So we have to accept. And in fact, NEP, what NEP has come out, it was just suddenly not that a dictatorship, someone just came in and told you what to do. It was done through so many discussions with so much of our inputs. We as heads, we as educationists, we were asked to give our inputs, and we have given. NEPs combined everything, and it has come. In fact, ma'am was saying about the entrepreneurship. In fact, I would just like to update you, like many progressive schools are of course doing it. Like for example, like ours, we have already developed a platform where we mentioned it as RUSH Rush. Children will be taken to different places, factories, with hotels. We are going to take them with different organizations where they can spend the time, they can see what it is, and then choose their line, because they will practice it, they will spend, and they will know exactly what it is to become a pilot, what it is to become a policeman. So that is what it is to become a hotelier. So like this, it is so progressive. And with the language also, we would like to, I mean, since the discussion was about the language, I'll come back to it. It is, as other members have said, it is my expression. If I can express, and I'm definitely going to do well. Only thing here is when we have so many states with so many languages, I think in the preliminary stage, as NEP says, if we can expose children to express in their own language, I think definitely the understanding will be much better. And as Gurinder sir said, it is just how you express. Once you understand, definitely you can express whether the language, because if you're understanding thing properly, it is chemistry or mathematics, you will not have to tell correct English. You know, you can express is more important. And I think NEP is very progressive in every aspect, be it special education, be it the credit that we are going to carry. Come on, children are going to go to class 12 when they finish their class 12 course. So the credits that we at the university level we can have, even if we have a breakage, there is no problem if we have a gap. I think all these are very progressive thought, and educators need to ensure we implement it in the right manner. We implement it with the positive attitude, and we implement it with true spirit.
Well taken from Suchitra ji. Exposed to express, and taking children around to the. I hope now it's a last bite. I'll take it up with the children. Hearing to your teachers, your principals, the educators, how do you feel in the end? Because we value your opinion. That is how we thought of inviting you. And we are very much assured by you all that you are not on a back foot. Even when you are on a back foot, we are on to scoring a 6. So well taken from Kishika, Shagun, Himanshi, and Jasprit. I would like to take with this tiny girl, Jasprit. Where is Jasprit? Are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
How, in the end, the entire program, how do you sum up?
So in the entire program, how at the end we talked about our Indian culture. I feel yes, ab bari hai when we can talk about our Indian culture, when we can talk about a tradition, bring it up, bring it to everyone who's there in the country, and tell them yes, here is the point when we can talk about the Indian culture which we were lacking behind. When we talk about Indian culture, we have a lot to say. Other country people, they say that India ka culture aisa hai. They have a lot of tradition. They learn about a tradition. Then why not we Indians, we learn about our own tradition? Why let other people do it? Why not let your own self know about, grasp knowledge about what is India up to? What have our leaders done for India? Why not get about that? Why not know about that? And that's what the national education policy will do. And I'm pretty sure about that. We are going to grasp knowledge. We are going to help ourselves read in Hindi. What is written in Hindi, will be able to learn what is there.
hearing to you all is a very big relief, and there's a lot of hope which I see in the days to come. Himanshi, what is your bite onto it?
Sir, personally, I am really excited to see what NEP brings for us, because it's a whole new opportunities. It's going to be different for everybody. And seeing that our principals are so open about it, seeing that they are ready for this, it just motivates the students also. Because then in the end, we have to face it together. And of course, we live in India. We are proud of our country. We are proud of Bharat. Will be always open to learning anything in Hindi. Will always be open to do anything which supports our country, which takes it to development.
Well said. I think, Shagun, how is the last bite with you?
Sir, when speaking about NEP, I would say it has already been seen so much acceptance, because the meme culture which is growing these days, when the NEP was announced, there was this meme that NEP hamare time pe kyun nahi hai, because there's just so much acceptance from students' side, because we have been waiting for it. We have been done with these assessments, and there was this thing about assessments for learning. We have been waiting for such practices. When we talk about a post-pandemic model of education, it will be driven by NEP, because NEP is what we have driven ourselves to. Apart from that, we are talking about a phygital model, physical plus digital, a phygital model of education, which will enhance our skills, because I am going through a social change which cannot be reversed, but I'm going through a technological innovation which is going to lead me to the zen. So when I speak about this, when I sum up this discussion, I would like to say it was great discussing about the aftermath of post-pandemic, and I would say NEP 2020, what it has given us, because it's a chance to grow, and all we were looking for. So pandemic was the correct, I would say, the time period when NEP was announced, because now we are ready to keep our heads up and, you know, work the best of our efforts and just do accept NEP in a way which is going to give India the global stature, the traditional values which we have been looking to, I would say, popularize from a long period of time.
Thank you very much. I think I will say that our children, they have taken very well, and we are very proud of you. When you go back home, when you go back to the school, when you talk to Amrita Voraji, give my regards to her. When you go back to your school, say my hello to Soumya ji. And when you go back to Mount Abu, say to Jyoti Arora ji, Namaste. We are very glad you came here. You gave your bites, very crisp, very relevant, very meaningful.
Yeah.
Let me also tell you one thing as an elder. It is very difficult to reverse this, because children have found now some opportunities and challenge. These opportunities are going to be realities in the post-pandemic. Let's see, the school might start in a blended manner. You may have a physical school, you may have a virtual school. It may start in a staggered manner. You may have only the secondary classes coming one time, and one time the middle classes coming. So maybe that is the reality, and we have accepted that. And I think I congratulate the panelists for making difference through their voices and taking children on board. My thanks to all four of you, Gurinder ji, Sanyukta ji, Suchitra ji, Radha ji, and of course Anjali ji. You know, this is what I envisioned. This is what was my thought process, that we together become a stakeholder in the process of designing a new model of learning. Thank you, one and all, and we meet now Sunday at 6 again with another body. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Shashi ji, in the end.
Thank you, sir.
It was indeed great that you
Absolutely, sir. It was.
were there all throughout, and You made a lot of difference with your presence. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And thank you to all the participants.
जो सारा काम करते हैं वो बोलते नहीं, कुछ शशि जी के लिए बात लागू होती है।
नहीं सर, मैं आपको पर्सनली बताऊं कि मोहन सर knows very well what is
नहीं मैं तो
मेरा बेटा बहुत छोटा है,
I was complimenting you because I know that you are a wonderful.
She has a hurricane task to perform. She has a baby who's small. She has to look after.
Yes.
And
Great.
she has also,
yes.
She has also somebody like me who's also very demanding.
No,
No, sir, you are my backbone, and you are the only one who is pushing me to do all the things.
Mohan sir, it was a great, pleasure. I cannot express in words to be associated. Such a beautifully posed and the flow which you maintain is commendable.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes.
Yes, sir. It was as always,
Anjali
nice
is
hearing you. And
part of the entire team.
Yes, and Anjali ma'am, thank you so much for your giving time in this period.
And
I
we
have
will look
heard a
forward
lot of
with Anjali ji
Yes,
more
yes.
and with the other panelists as well. Thank you very much. One
Take
and
care,
all.
ma'am. Take care, sir.
Take care.
Thank you.
Please.
Thank you, Surinder sir.
Much for a wonderful show. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
yes.